Okay, thought I'd take you for a trip around the yard. This is where the duck built the nest, but you can tell. That's where the blackbirds ate all the eggs, so she abandoned the nest. This is Mom's cactus garden. Still a work in progress. Delphinium, rain barrel. This is the potting bench. It's actually got two 30-gallon drums inside, and I just did the outside with foam so that the water's not actually touching the wood. And I just planted those, so they're kind of limp. This is the pear tree, at least under the pear tree. The back of the bench. That's a red lilac. It's got red and white flowers when it comes in. Also on the back of each box there, I'll put a bleeding heart. This was all done last year. Those are just some storage sheds for the flowers for the cemetery. This was done last year as well, so it's just started to come into its own. All of these white flower boxes I just put in, they'll have dahlias on each side with pansies in the middle. So there'll be 18 different colored dahlias along the front fence towards fall, late summer towards fall. The daffodils have seen a better day. A couple more weeks I'll have to cut those down, and then in front of each daffodil is the mums that should be coming up to replace them. This fence line was put in 2 years ago, so it's starting to come to its own. And then of course I have in the pots there are also dahlias that will come up. These are on this side is all just purple dahlias. This is the sand cherry bed. I had to cut the sand cherry down because it was diseased, but it's coming back up. I'll show you. But this was done last year. So these creeping phloxes, this is the second year, and that's the sand cherry coming back. There's 2 branches of it. Oops. Alrighty, that corner here, forsythia bush, asters in the front, they're all coming on. Bunch of ladybugs. They must enjoy that one. This line was put in 3 years ago, so it's completely. Back next year I'll have to dig up these lilies and divide them. This is the lilac that I trimmed up last year. It was 8 feet tall and all dead wood. So I cut out the dead wood, and that's all the new growth that's come on. I'm going to extend and join these two together, put a 3 cherry tree there with 3 types of cherries in that section. This is the only original rose bush left from Grandma's house. The rest of them all died from that rosacea disease that killed off the roses. This one was spared. That's a trumpet vine that will come back in the summer. This is kind of a pigsty right now. The garden I haven't even started on yet. This is the flower garden. The plan is to take this fence down and place it out here and extend the garden out here. Also a place to put the trash cans and stuff. Alright, let's see. That's the fruit cage. I'll go in there in a second. Delphinium growing, clematis, columbine, 3 other types of clematis growing in there. Let me see if I can zoom in. It's one type. It's one type. And on the other side of the archway is another type. The other lilac bush was like this one. Old wood, and it only bloomed on the top. So this year I'll be cutting on a third of this one, and then each consecutive year a third until I get it looking more like that one, and then it will also get 8 feet tall. But I'll continue to cut out the dead wood. This one's starting to come up a little bit. This is the garden that whenever I see something on sale on the clearance rack at Home Depot, I buy and put in here. So this garden is just all flowers, all enclosed to keep the bunny out. There are 2 bunnies. There's an adult bunny living in that pile over there, and the neighbors, and then a little 4-inch bunny that's still living under our deck. This is the garden I haven't started on yet. I'm gonna start on this probably in about 2 weeks. Get that all planted up. I know it's late, but been doing other things. Okay, this is the fruit cage. And we've got 2 grapes. That's a Concord and a red, both seedless. They're 2 years old. Got 1 more year before they'll start going. These are the blueberry, goji berry, the second blueberry. These are in wicking baskets. What it is, it's a 55-gallon drum. I cut off the top third, trimmed it so it would shove down inside. So the bottom half of that bucket is all water, and then with 2 wicks made out of a pair of nylons filled with dirt. That'll wick up into this bed and keep this bed wet. That way when it rains, the barrels can fill up and they take care of themselves. The strawberries, I didn't like this year's strawberries. They didn't do much good, that variety, so I took them all out, and I'm going to replace them with the variety I had the first year that did really well. These are 2 grapes. I think the frost killed these 2 when I planted them, so I may have to replace them. But they're a match to the other grapes. And then these are pine berries. 3 of them are. One's a strawberry. You need 1 strawberry to pollinate the pine berries. But they're the white berries with the red spots. They're supposed to taste like pineapples, although they look like strawberries, white strawberries. So we're going to give them a try this year. Sorry for the swing there. Let's see, what else? More trash because I'm still moving and cleaning stuff out. This bed, I want to replace the wood this year because the wood's rotted. But it's coming into its own. Around the gazebo, that's a tall phlox. Russian sage on each side. Rose bush. with mums on each side of the rose bush that will come up. This bed here I'm going to get rid of at the end of fall and just cut both those trees down. When we had the old pine tree, it killed off this one. So I'm just going to cut them both down and get rid of that bed completely. And then the last thing is just along the side of the house where all the creeping phloxes come up. This is the little side garden. You got grass there, and then these are tall phlox. A rose bush there. This is a chocolate plant, just started to come up with its twin there, just started to come up. And then another tall phlox. Each of the phlox are different colors. And this is the bright part of the yard so far. The creeping phlox, there's the tall phlox. Different variety from these other ones. And that's the yard so far.